Hello everyone. So this past weekend I went to Penn Apps and I had a really good time over there. And I made an app that is basically a utility app for keeping track of monetary transactions. So let's go through a quick demo. So it's an iOS app called Util, and I came up with the app idea when I noticed that a lot of the monetary transactions I was doing was very redundant. I was doing a lot of the same calculations over and over. So I thought, why not create an app that does all these calculations for you? So some of the common things that I've noticed that I did a lot was calculating tips when I went to restaurants with friends, calculating sales tax whenever I purchased items at like the store, calculating income when you're comparing to competing job offers, converting currency, and calculating rent for your apartment. So let's just demo some of the features of the app. You're able to calculate the amount of tip you have to pay as soon as you receive your bill at the restaurant. So let's say you have to pay $100, very expensive meal. You have a party of 7 people, and you want to each pay 20% tip. So we'll drag down this picker view over here. Let's set this value and then hit calculate. So it'll show you the total amount of tip that that everyone has to pay combined, the total amount that is billed, and the really nice thing about it is you get to see the exact amount of tip each person has to pay and the total amount that each person has to pay. So this is a really quick way of finding exactly what each person's proportion of the bill they have to take care of. So this is definitely a lot faster than having to calculate it by hand or using like a calculator. And I thought this is just like a really quick way of doing this. So that's one of the features of the app. Um, it's also it also looks good on landscape as well as portrait view. So if we flip this over here, yeah. So let's next calculate sales tax. So since Penn Apps was in Pennsylvania, I had the idea of figuring out exactly where in the United States you were and determining like how much you have to pay for sales tax in that regard. So let's set this over to Pennsylvania, which has a 6% tax rate. Let's say you're spending $20 and two people are happening to split the bill. So let's see exactly what happens there. We learned that the tax cost is $1.20, and the total is $21 20 cents, and each person has to pay $10.60. So we could also figure out the values of other states. So like I'm from California. Let's see exactly how much we would have to pay for the same cost over there. So the sales tax in California is 7.5%. The tax cost is $1.50, and we have to pay slightly more. And then this is just like a good way of comparing exactly how much you have to pay. So in California, it's $10.75 per person. In, let's say, New York, for example, that's 35 cents less. That's pretty good. So that's like a cool feature of the app. This is by far my favorite feature of the app. The income calculator. It allows you to compare the salaries of 2 job offers that you would receive. So, and the cool thing about it is you could compare metrics across hourly, monthly, and yearly salaries. So let's start with hourly. Let's say company A offers you $38 an hour. Actually, let's give a better example. $52.88. Bonuses of 15K, and RSUs of like 12,500. And let's say company B is only paying you, or it's giving you its salary in terms of monthly. So let's say you get paid $9,000 a month, like Snapchat. You would see exactly the amount you would make over the course of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years for both companies. And you could use this as a good way to judge which offer is better for you in the long run financially. So we could do other metrics as well. Yearly, 120, 120K, $10,000, let's say $50,000 starting bonus, something insane. 30,000 RSUs. Holy cow, that is insane. Yeah, so I felt this would be really useful for a lot of college students who are considering going into industry after graduation. You would want to compare each competing offer you have and figure out exactly which one would suit you better in terms of the financial standpoint. Also, it doesn't look as good in landscape, but trying my best, so improve that later on. Another thing you could do is convert currency. So for this, I included the 6 most common currencies around the world, which are US dollars, euros, Japanese yen, British pound, the Swiss franc, and the Canadian dollar. So given any arbitrary amount at the beginning, you enter it into the text field, and then you just hit convert, and then you'll see the relative weight of your currency standard at the moment against the other 5 most common currencies. So let's compare the euro, the yen, pound, franc, and the Canadian dollar, my bad. So one thing I forgot to mention for sales tax and currency conversion, these ratios are hard-coded for now. If I were to really work on this app a little bit more, I would probably scale it so that it actually receives data from a backend endpoint. Because right now it's just set as a local variable. If information were to change, I would have to change it manually, which isn't really ideal. So I would probably just figure out a way to connect to some sort of REST API, perform a GET request, and just get the information through that. So that's a future improvement I was planning on making. And the last feature that I included was calculating rent. So some of the things to start off with are the monthly base rent for everyone in your apartment. So in my case, it's like $2,200 a month. Electric, let's say about $50. Gas, $50. We don't have to pay for water. Internet, $50. Parking spot, it's getting about $120, but it's sublease. So this is a cost that, or this is actually something that gets subtracted from the amount you have to pay per month. And I have 2 roommates, so let's see how much I have to pay there. So it comes out to around $743.33 over here. If I didn't have the parking spot, for example, we would have to pay more. We'd have to pay about $823, which is pretty insane. But this is another calculator I included just to make it easier to figure out how much everyone needs to pay and things like that. So some of the improvements to the app I felt were just making sure that you're able to split tips proportionally, because right now everything's assumed to be evenly split, and the same thing goes for calculating rent. So let's say you want person A to pay about 30%, while person B would pay 40%, and person C would pay the remaining 30%. That's like a planned feature of the app that I still want to implement in the future, because right now it's evenly split. Also, as you can see, UI, UX design is not really my strong point, so just making this app look nicer would be another goal I would have. And then obviously adding more features to the app. Some of them that I had in mind were calculating mortgage rates and car payments, because that's obviously a big deal when you're going out into the adult world. So it's just any calculations that people have in common is just something I wanted to include.
Oh,
Yeah, so
if I get something, it's gonna be bad for my stomach.
I mean, what? You eat tea or something.
oh, so basically
Green tea is good.
yeah, so the app got released to the App Store today. The link's over here if you can look up Bill Util.
Manny, you wanna go get something from Paul?
Sure, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, just give me like a minute.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, so basically here's the app. You can download it. It's free for now. If you guys have any recommendations on what features you want to add, just feel free to message me, comment on the video, submit a pull request, and I'm very open to adding new ideas. And if you want to be a contributor to the app, just let me know. Like, I'm not intending to make profit off this. I want it to be so that everyone could just use the app and make their lives a little bit easier, and automate certain things that are very redundant in their lives. So yeah, thank you for watching. Download the app. Let me know how it is. File any bug reports, and yeah, thank you.
Let's go.
All right.
Dude, there's a downtown tech fair at LA.
Yeah.
So I think it was telling me if I should go there. Should I go there or should I stay?
Well, you have to find transport.
Like, I knew where this is going.
But he has a job.
Huh?
He already has a job.
Yeah, but then there's some other.
Are there startups?
What?
Are there startups that do part time?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, let's go. I think that's that.